Thoughtless casual gaming. Thoughtless casual gaming. Thoughtless casual gaming. Thoughtless casual gaming.
Welcome to Thoughtless Casual Gaming, the podcast where we take on the world of games with reckless abandon and zero strategy. Join us as we stumble our way through classic and new games, making questionable decisions and occasionally remembering to read the rules. We're not here to win, we're here to have a good time and to make you laugh along the way. So grab a drink, gather some friends, and get ready for some hilarious game shenanigans. This is Thoughtless Casual Gaming, where we play board games badly and have fun doing it.
What the fuck was that? No.
It's too wordy. I got an AI to write an intro, and my God, it's a mouthful.
This is great. We have to do a new one every episode now.
Just come up with. I'll just do random shit. You know, it doesn't need to be games. It can be.
I like it.
Come up with a dodgy podcast intro.
It sounded like the terrifying bit is it actually sounded like a lot of podcast intros.
Probably is.
That is, yeah. AI is both amazing and terrifying.
It's scary stuff.
I love it.
Anyway, you're listening to Thoughtless Casual Gaming with Brett and Jace. We are a Geelong-based gaming podcast where we play games badly and then talk shit about them. That's much better.
See, and that's why AI. That is why Skynet will never happen, because it can't do that. Get to the fucking point, Skynet.
No, it'll probably happen. It'll just kill us with boredom as it talks to us in long, elongated sentences. Which, incidentally, is probably the whole point of this podcast, isn't it?
Which, incidentally, is literally the opposite of my job. It's just the best. I love it.
Anyway, look, we put out an episode. Was it last week? It hasn't been long since the last episode.
No, it's been fast. Like, what is this?
I know, right? Thing is, we've got a lot of games to play. And time-wise, not an awful lot of time, but some of us are on leave now and have a bit of time, so we will be getting some of these games in, as much as I can drag you along to anyway.
I am a draggable person.
Excellent. We have lots of things to go through. We have games sitting there waiting. We have the boys. We have got to sit through and get through Batman Dark Knight Returns. There is Marvel United stuff to play. There is Marvel Zombies coming. I've got DC Deck Builder coming. We got a lot of stuff.
So many games.
Why don't we just talk about it?
We should start a podcast where we play games badly, because let's be honest, it's us, and then just talk shit sometimes about them. That'd be a great idea for a podcast.
Nah, I don't think so. I think it'd be a shit podcast. Nobody would listen to it.
It'd be a shit podcast, but it's a great idea for a podcast.
If we outsourced the hosting to somebody else, somebody capable, it would be a good podcast.
I mean, it's effectively there's any number of pseudo-celebrity channels that play games. If we could find us some pseudo-celebrities, like some B, D, E, F graders, I'd take H graders.
What if we just get the AI to write it all? And can we get AI to say it? I'm going to look into that.
If not, you could just throw it into Siri or something and say, Siri, read this. That would be glorious.
Yep. All right. That's the next step. Get ready for that, people.
I have actually seen, just on a side note, people getting AI to write army lists.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For games.
And does it work?
Well, it writes them. I'm not sure how accurate they are because they're not for games I play, but it will literally, and then it will give you the army list and an idea of how to play it in a little just writes it for you.
Can you go to a tournament with one of these lists and go, right, okay, hold on 2 secs. I'm going to scroll down. What's the next move? It's telling me to move all my guys to the left, but you've shot them all. Anyway.
Who knew that the AI was written by Beyonce?
Oh, God. Anyway, so I've gotten a couple of games in recently. How about you?
You have a couple more than me.
All right.
No, look, I think this is going to be a Brett-heavy episode, so just be warned.
Yeah, you can tune out now.
Vaguely relieved.
We did get a couple of games of Masters of the Universe in last night. We're going to play one or two more, and then we're going to bring you a dedicated episode for that. Don't forget about the giveaway that we've got going, because after playing it, definitely worth getting on board that.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I backed it now.
Yes.
I know it's literally 2 minutes down the road at your house, but I'm so glad I have my very own. And it is legitimately, I'm getting off track again, but the dilemma about wanting them painted but not wanting to paint them.
Well, you've got a copy. I've got a copy. You could paint yours. I know you don't want to.
Yeah, I was about to say there's literally 50% of that statement that is no longer.
Well, 50% is done, is sorted. It's just the other 50% you need to take care of.
Yeah.
Look, there's a couple of rocks in it. You paint the rocks.
But they're not the bits I care about. the little cringer covering his head. Anyway, there's a whole other episode for this coming for soon. Now, we are not talking about Masters.
No, we have a couple of other board games to go through. I have played a couple in the last couple of weeks, most of them with a collection of all my friends. So a lot of solo games. But I just wanted to run through a couple of them. We have had questions and people have been curious about some of these, especially on our Discord. So if you're in our Discord, some of those answers will be done tonight. If you're not in our Discord, you can jump in our Discord and ask us questions, and eventually we may get around to talking about what you want.
Yeah, to be clear, most of these questions were asked in 2021.
We're not good with the time management, but we will get there. Anyway, first game I played, and this is one I picked up from work because I just liked the look of it. The style of it looked really good. The cover was very intriguing, and I went home, watched a couple of YouTube videos, and went, yeah, I think I can get on that. And this one's called The Night Cage. So just as a bit of a explanation, just going to read the description straight off Board Game Geek, but you awaken in the dark, your skin cold, your mind blank. It sounds like any other day to me. You have nothing but your fear, a flickering candle, and a question. How long will your light last?
I finally have a candle. I mean, the rest of it is just business as usual.
Yes. Trapped and crawling your way through a pitch-black labyrinth, equipped with nothing but dim candles, you must work together to explore the maze and escape. Unfortunately, your weak candlelight illuminates only your immediate surroundings. Worse still, horrifying wax eaters, monsters who despise the light, lurk in the suffocating darkness for their opportunity to strike. This is way more exciting than just jumping in and playing. Now I know. Now I know what the theme of the game is. The Night Cage is a fully cooperative, horror-themed tile placement game that traps 1 to 5 lost souls within a unnatural labyrinth of eternal darkness. To win, players must each collect a key, find a gate, and escape as a group. Escape won't be easy, as each player's visibility is limited by the weak light of their candle. They illuminate only tiles directly connecting to their own, and when players move, tiles that fall into darkness are removed from the game. Doubling back the way you came only opens new paths, the old ones being lost forever, with critical keys and gates vanishing if your light move away from them. Moves. Yep. Anyway, this is, like it says, 1 to 5 players. I have played this by myself. There are basically 2 options, 2 sides of the board, and 1 for 4 players, 1 for 5 players. So if you're playing 1 player, you're controlling 4 characters. 2 players, 2 characters each, and so on and so forth. It's an interesting game because the whole candle and tile process, all 4 characters, or 5, I'll just say 4 from now on, we'll start on a starting tile which illuminates to 2 different areas, and those areas you basically drawing a tile for, and the first couple can be like T-intersections, crossroads, or just corridors. Some of these tiles, once you step on it, if you step off, it'll fall into a pit, and you basically have to make your way around, find these keys, get 1 key per player, and then find an escape and get out. If you come across monsters, the monsters only attack when somebody moves in their line of sight. So they're usually at a crossroads. So what you'll get is, if you'll quite often spawn these monsters where you've got 2 people in the way, and one will move off and the other one will get hit. What happens when you get hit is you've got a pile of tiles that you're slowly working your way through. If you get hit by a monster, your candle is snuffed out, so you can no longer see 1 tile ahead of you in each direction. You can only see the tile you're on, and you lose 3 tiles from that stack. And when that stack runs out, tiles start disappearing a lot quicker. It's a decent game. I'm not 100% sure if I'm playing it correctly yet, because I've played about 4 or 5 games. I played another one today, and I have been successful in all of them. I'm basically playing on the basic level, and a lot of those games have been close. Like the one today came down to me jumping on the tile at the last possible minute to get everybody out. But even so, I feel like I perhaps should have lost by now. So it might be a matter of me actually referring to the rule book properly.
Overrated.
Yeah, I know. YouTube's really good for this sort of stuff. You can just tune into a video and go, right.
Yeah, I'm never learning how to play a game from a rule book again. Like, that shit is too hard.
With Masters last night, I literally watched a couple of YouTube videos, and then we dived into it, and I was like, I had to look up special things in the rule book, but apart from that.
But that's what the rule book should be there for. It's not a learn how to play book. It is a reference. I need to know what happens in this instance. Let us check.
True. Anyway, Night Cage, decent game, a lot of fun, and one of those games that you can play by yourself, or you can play if you have friends, or you can play by yourself, like I did.
And I mean, sometimes friends, and we'll call them friends, right? We'll say friends, right? But sometimes they expect you to wear pants. Playing solo, none of that. None of that nonsense.
Or just clothes in general.
Exactly.
Look, I like the tile aspect. The fact that, a lot of these tiles too will fall away into pits as well, so they'll block your way off. Monsters, if you happen to get into a bad scenario where you've got 2 or 3 monsters sort of not in a row, but like that can see each other, once one of them gets set off, then all of them get set off. So in the game today, I had 3 people hit at once by the monsters, and that was like 9 tiles gone from the stack. And if those tiles happen to be the ones you need, like the keys and the escape, you could be in a lot of trouble. But yeah, good fun. I'll have to get you onto it.
No, I'm a digger. I just really like that whole concept of you just there and you got a candle and you can only see this far and you kind of just have to take a step and go, fuck, what's next?
There's a real strategy to it too as well. So you might be able to see the tile in front of you and it's a crossroads, right? So you step into it, you're going to be drawing 3 tiles, one at a time, to put on those other 3 exits. But there's that real strategy of going, okay, well, this tile is a T intersection. Do I put it here? Like, what if the next one's a monster? How am I going to be able to move off and not have somebody else in the line of fire if I move this character off, and that sort of thing? So there's a lot of strategy as to where you place them and which direction you're going. You can stand in one spot with any of your characters, and they gain like resolve, which you can use to do other things later on in the game, but you also lose a tile from the pile each time that you do that. And all these tiles are like just, you mix them up at the start of the game.
Yeah, okay. So it could be important, it could not be. It could be good, it could be bad. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. One of those times when I got hit by a monster today, at 3 tiles that I took away, 2 of them were other monsters. So that was not necessarily a bad thing. It just limited my moving for a little while.
But it's that real balance between giving you an immersive kind of atmospheric experience and doing the brain tickling and the strategy piece as well. So that's juicy.
Yeah, it definitely took a bit of thought. The next one I got, again, one that showed up at work and I got very interested in the idea of it. This is another solo game. This is only solo. And it's called Final Girl. So again, just running on this, playing on a famous horror movie trope, Final Girl is a solitaire-only game that puts the player in the shoes of a female protagonist who must kill the slasher if she wants to survive. The core box, when combined with one of our feature film boxes, has everything you need to play the game. Each feature film box contains a unique killer and iconic location. And the more feature films you have, the more killer location combinations you can experience. In game terms, it shares similarities. Blah, 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 blah. You can choose from multiple characters when picking somebody to play and multiple killers when picking somebody to play against. Killers and locations each have their own specific tarot cards, which will be shuffled together to create a unique experience with various combinations of scenarios for you to play. This is one... Doomy in one of our comments on Facebook actually asked us to look into this. And I had been curious before he asked that, but I the idea of the game itself, I looked into it in a bit of depth on YouTube and whatnot before I jumped in and bought it. It's a very interesting concept. So you've got the core box, which in any other game is the game.
Yes.
Right?
This is exactly what if I want to play the game, I go and buy the game box.
Yes. And then you buy expansions to increase that experience, right? Add extra
That's the term expansion that it expands on. Yeah.
But these are scenario boxes. So the core box comes with all the bits and pieces that you need to play the game, apart from the game itself.
So you actually have to buy a scenario to have a bag line or location, and that is cheeky as fuck.
It is very cheeky, but it kind of works.
I mean, it kind of works, yes, but it also could come with the core box. Just needs to come with, package it with a scenario.
One scenario, yes, agreed.
Make it a shit one. Like pick a really shitty horror guy, and just. I don't know.
Who would be your choice for shitty horror guy?
Oh shit! I didn't think this far ahead.
Maybe the Scream Ghost or somebody stupid.
He's terrible. How he didn't just get a baseball batted in the first movie, I don't fucking know. But anyway,
that's because there were 2 of them.
I don't care. It's silly. Neve Campbell, I'm disappointed in you.
Look, this is an interesting game. It's interesting how they've done the core box and the scenario. So you definitely need a scenario and a core box to play. There is no way around that. But they're not overly expensive. So each one's about $33, right? Mm-hmm. And so the core box gives you the dice, all the little tokens, bits and pieces, a couple of cards, the tracker for basically your health and the horror level. So as things happen, the horror level can increase or decrease depending on what's going on. The horror level basically determines how many dice you're rolling for any sort of tests or anything you're trying to do. So the more scary it is, the less dice you're rolling, which really makes a difference. Because these dice, they're basically 6-sided dice. 2 of them are successes, 2 of them are fails, and 2 of them can be successes if you want them to be. In which case, you need to discard cards from your hand, which you have a limited hand, and you need to discard 2 cards for each one of those you want to turn into a success. So then that becomes oh crap, well, I kind of wanted this card, and I can get rid of this. I don't need to search at the moment because I'm not in the search area, or that sort of decision making about how
resource management is always good.
Yeah,
like it's that balance. So I need to rob Peter to pay Paul.
And this is from all things that I've read. This is meant to be a difficult game. It's not meant to be one that you do easily and then obviously forget about and move on to the next game, sort of thing. So, but I got intrigued and I picked up the core box and I picked up the Carnival, which has like a sort of puppet mastered guy, and he's got puppets and traps and all sorts of stuff. And I went, yeah, look, he's more fitting with my personality and the kind of things I like, so let's grab him. Then proceeded to watch a couple of YouTube videos and read some more articles, which then said that he was one of the harder ones. And I went, shit. This is meant to be a hard game. Do I really want to, limit myself and get out and give myself a hard time to start off with?
I'm already playing solo. How hard do I want to fuck myself is the question you're asking.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it turns out I didn't want to do that too much. So I went back the next day at work and I bought 2 more. I like easy mode. Like, there were many times I'd come home after a hard day at work or whatever, and I'd just play Quake 3 Team Arena on God mode and just annihilate shit. That was my release. I like it a little bit easier. I don't mind a hard game every so often, but it's not my game of choice, let's say. So I bought, what did I buy? I bought the basic one, the one that they suggest is the easiest one, which is Camp Happy Trails, which is basically, Halloween, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a guy called Hans. He's the butcher. He likes to eat people. He's got a shitload of health, but, there's no special rules. There's no special actions.
He just walks around. He minces some people.
Yeah, pretty much. Stops for a snack, all that sort of stuff.
A standard slasher, yeah.
So I bought that, and I also bought another one because I'm a sucker, and I bought the Freddy Krueger light or whatever, the dummy Freddy Krueger thing that they've got going. So there's a couple of them. So there's that. There's the Carnival one. There is like a voodoo type character. There's a ghost, a poltergeist type one. There is another couple coming as well. One is based off The Thing, the movie The Thing, and the other one, which I'm really intrigued by, is based off the first Alien film. So I think that could be kind of cool. But these scenario boxes, the way they work, they've got all the items for that location. They've got the tarot cards for the character that you're up against. They come with 2 girls who have different abilities and different health. And the box itself kind of looks like an old VHS box. And the covers, both sides of the cover, are magnetic, and they just come off. And one of them is your health tracker and your tracker for the evil horror guy. And the other side is the map. And you're drawing a card. You're drawing various different cards, shuffling cards and drawing them. And like your scenario, you'll draw one card for that, and that'll tell you where you start on this map and where your killer starts and where there are various other victims on the map. So it's got that variety there. I've played it twice now, and the two games I played, like it was even the starting characters and where they were was quite different. So made for a different sort of style of game. So first time I played it, not really knowing what I was doing. I played a chick called Laura who her card, she can save 6 of these victims. And you basically just wander up, say, hey, come with me if you want to live, and take them to an exit. And 2 of them will follow you at any one time. So if she saves 6, each one of those 6 will give her a bonus, and you can choose what that bonus is. So you can only choose it once, but you might get to move an extra space. You might get to get an extra health, things like that. And then when she's saved 6, you flip her over and she's got an awesome special ability. Right? Same sort of thing with all the different final girls. They just have different abilities and different numbers of people that they need to save. Mm-hmm. So I needed 6 to flip her over. I saved 5, which I thought was a good effort because the first event card that I flipped over meant that these people were idiots and only one of them would follow me at any given time.
Idiots.
Yep.
I mean, typical of a horror movie.
Yes.
So,
I mean, it's very thematic for sure.
Or actually, just taking a step back, I did really enjoy that when I saw the box and you literally just ripped the first sort of side and back off, and that was one half of it, and then you ripped the other side and the front off, and that was the other half. The whole lot just magnetized together. It was really clever packaging. The whole thing looked very pretty. Like
it does.
Actual draw card, like that was smart. And the other piece I've only just kind of picked up on, and I know you've said it a couple of times, is that effectively when you buy the scenario, you get a location, you get a bad guy, and you get a couple of good guys, and you can mix the bad guy and the locations and the good guys, which gives you more variety every time. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's no reason why I couldn't, say, play Hans on the carnival.
Yeah. Or puppet guy on Camp Happy Trails. And,
exactly. So anyway, I thought I was doing quite well. I was making my way through. The killer, Hans, he was not hungry. Like he had quite enough to eat because he was killing people left, right, and center. And his bloodlust tracker was going up, which meant that he moved faster and he got his special abilities and he did more damage. And all of a sudden, that was it. That was game over because he just trundled into my square and attacked me twice and completely decimated me. And I hadn't even hit him. Not once. So not a single health had been taken away from this guy. And that was the end of the game. And I thought, yeah, okay.
And this was the easy one that you bought because
this was the easy one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I had fun, but it was, I let him, however I was playing that game, I let him get away with murder because literally,
yeah.
He slaughtered these people. He got big and tough and strong. And then I was just this poor little girl. And I only had like 5 health, I think. And one more of the aspect of the game, like, so he's got 12, I've got 5. Your last bit of health, when you get down to your last bit of health, or when the killer is on his last bit of health, you roll an extra dice for anything that you're trying to do. It's the adrenaline dice.
The old desperation dice.
Exactly. Kind of cool. And so you've got these little heart tokens which show your health.
Which are way too adorable for actual wounds taken.
They're little hearts. They're cute. But the last bit of health on both yours and the killer's health tracks is a cardboard token. All right. And you take all these cardboard tokens into a pile at the start of the game, and you mix them all up, and then you put a random one on yours, random one on your opponent's. And these are like that old trope that's in every bloody movie where the killer is like shot 5 times in the face and then sits up. You know, when you get to that last bit of health and you take that last bit of health away, you flip it over and it might have extra health, in which case you or the killer are coming back for like one more go, right? In my case, no, I had no extra health. I was definitely dead. And that was the end of that game. The second time I played it, I
cheated.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I did not cheat, but I played the other girl from the first set. So her name was Rico. Yeah. She had a bit more health. I think she had 6 health, and she only needed 5 people to flip over.
I mean, this sounds like a win already.
Yes, so her ability was a bit more targeted. Her special ability was a bit more targeted towards actually being in the same square. It was basically, you know, if the killer's within 2 squares, you can automatically go to his square for no cost. And with these, your time management is there's a tracker for the time, and it starts on 6 every turn, and that's your time. So you'll roll dice to try and do things by playing specific cards, and whether you're successful or not, that time marker might go down or it might go up in rare instances. And when you decide that you finished your turn, that's the time that's left is what you use to buy the cards for the next round.
I really like that. Again, going back to kind of the aesthetic and the atmosphere, right? In that horror movie concept of you're panicking and you're fumbling and you're trying to do a thing, and it's just taking that little bit longer because you're panicking and you're not thinking 100% clearly. And you can kind of see how that time is a resource, because if you can actually just focus and do the thing that you want to do, we get out faster.
It's really on point with the theme. Like, everything about this game makes you feel like you're in a horror film. Anyway, this event, the first event that I pulled out, because you'll at various times you will pull out new event cards, and you could have 3 of them going at once. So whereas in the first game I had one that would only allow me to save one person at a time, this one added like 6 new victims onto the board. 6 more potential feasts for Hans. But more victims meant that I had more people close to me. So by turn 2, through some awesome rolling and
strategic genius, just say it.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I knew what to focus on here, and that's not a pun, because there is a card that is called Focus, which is something that if you're playing, you want to do that as soon as possible, because that can reduce that horror track down and eventually hopefully give you 3 dice every time you're rolling a dice, which makes a hell of a difference. So by the end of the second turn, I had saved 4 of those people.
Okay.
So we're looking good. Looking good. By the end of the game, Hans had killed 3 people, and I had saved 9. So that 5 just flipped me over to the other side. Each other one after that was giving me extra time that I could use to spend on cards and stuff like that. And yeah, I took him down, and he did not have any extra health, and he even got extra health halfway through the game by getting some special ability which let him move faster and get more health. So I did 14 damage to him all up and won that one. So yeah, go me.
So the lesson here is Laura was a dud?
I don't think so. I don't think Laura was a dud. I think I was a dud.
Yeah, I was talking about the lesson. That implies you're learning something new.
No, well, true. There's nothing new about me being a dud, is there? Ah, dear. But I think I'd worked out how to. The sooner you get that, if you can get to 3 dice and you're rolling 3 dice on things, And you can keep that horror sort of track. I was lucky. A lot of the terror cards, because you're basically turning over a terror card every time he activates, and a lot of them will increase the horror track, whereas the ones that I had randomly chosen didn't seem to do that an awful lot, which meant that I was able to keep the horror track down and keep rolling 3 dice for the majority of the game, I think.
Yeah.
So that made things a hell of a lot easier. The other kind of cool thing that they do is that each scenario gives you a little envelope, which basically says, do not open until you have beaten the game as this character. So I got to open that little envelope for Rico, and what that gave me is a specialized Rico's Axe card, which I can add into the items that I can possibly find if I'm playing as Rico again, which is kind of cool. So I'm guessing there's a similar sort of card for each character that you
that's kind of fun.
Open that envelope for.
I like the reward for actually winning with a character too, like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be kind of cool. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of it being usable by anyone, so that once you've beaten the game, you can add a whole heap of cool items into the game. But also, that could make it a little bit too easy.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Final Girl and Night Cage, both decent games. Both ones I will be playing again.
That's a win.
Yeah, so quite happy about that, and quite happy about the fact that I enjoyed both of my games of Final Girl, considering I'd already bought the core box and 3 expansions for it. So
I bought the core box, realized I couldn't play the game, had to go back and buy another expansion.
No, I did realize that. So it does say it all over the paperwork. You need a scenario box, and on the scenario box, you need the core box.
Somebody is still going to make that purchase.
Somebody is not going to read that at all.
Absolutely.
But yes, both really enjoyable, and both really cool games because I could play them by myself. I haven't really ever been a solo game player. I think I said at the start of the episode, I've got Batman Dark Knight Returns to play, and that is definitely a solo game. So that's been sitting in my cupboard for ages, but I might have to break that out soon.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I don't think I've ever played, apart from trying to learn a game.
Mm-hmm.
So occasionally you'll pull a game out and be like, I'm just going to try and work out how this works, because that way I can play it with somebody.
Yep.
I think that's the only instance I've actually played something solo.
It was kind of fun. And both of them, I mean, Final Girl takes a little bit of setup because you are obviously choosing the scenario, choosing the person you want to be, choosing the killer. Then you're taking all the killer's terror cards, shuffling them into a pile and making a pile of 10 for the actual game. You're shuffling the scenarios and taking 1, and that's your where everybody is. You are taking all the items, shuffling them together, and then dealing out 3 lots of 4 for those. So there's a lot of take this pile of cards, shuffle them, put X amount here sort of thing. So there's a bit of setup for that one.
Yeah.
Night Cage is pretty simple setup because you're basically just taking specific tiles out and then shuffling all the other ones together and putting them in this kind of cool little candle type holder that you just draw out of.
It's just such an... Because I'm sitting here thinking, right, so I can't think of ever playing a game solo, but I've quite happily sat down, Xbox controller in hand, and played through a game. There's legitimately no difference, but it's never been something that I've even thought about. This is just...
I hadn't thought of some similarities there, but you're right. 90% of the Xbox games I do play are solo games.
Yeah, they just don't involve the manualness. I'm not sure why that changed. It doesn't change anything fundamentally. I mean, it just spoon feeds you all the stuff that you need to maybe use your brain for.
Yes.
But, all right. This
intriguing. Look at that. Us making us think. I was about to say making you think, but I don't think anybody who's actually listening is.
Whoa. Yeah.
Anyway, they probably already knew that. Last game I have played is, I have talked about it before, but a group of us have been making our way through Heroquest. So the original Heroquest box comes with 14 quests, which you kind of do as a campaign type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we were up to quest 14, which we played last week. And quest 13, so quest 12 basically introduces you to this guy. I think he was like called the Witch King or something very
Heroquesty.
Unoriginal sort of thing. But
I mean,
that introduced,
he could have taken the Mattel version. It could be Witch King or Kingo.
Kingo. You're still thinking about Masters. Anyway, big bad guy, right? So we met him in quest 12. We attempted to hit him, and then we realized that none of our weapons would actually hurt him. So we ran away. Quest 13 sends you on the quest to find the magical spirit blade, which is the only thing that can harm this guy.
It's like it was planned.
I know, right? Quest 14 pits you, having found this spirit blade, up against this big bad guy. And we went in. So 4 of us. We've been playing this for 14 sessions, right?
I was going to say, so if you've been doing basically one session a week, fortnight, but basically one game or one scenario, so it's been going on a while.
It has. I think there's been once or twice maybe that we played 2 in a row. But yeah, no, it's been going on for a while. And there are numerous expansions to Heroquest, and I think they've all got about 14 quests in each of those as well. So there's a lot more Heroquesting to be done. Now, problem with where we were is we're at quest 14, and majority of us are using characters that we've used for at least quite a few quests already. My barbarian I've been using since quest 1, and I think I subbed him out for a knight about halfway through the quest to see what the knight did, and then I went back to the barbarian because he had some decent equipment by that stage. He never died throughout the campaign, so he had all his equipment. And the barbarian starts off throwing 3 dice for attack, 2 dice for defense. I found some magical armor at one point. I had a helmet on. I even bought a shield for this adventure. So my defense was now up to 6 dice. And I was rolling 4 dice in attack against anything undead with this spirit blade. I also had a battle axe, which would reduce my defense down by 1 dice, but allow me to hit anything for 4 dice. But the last mission was all undead, so I didn't need to do that. So I'm rolling 4 dice in attack, 6 dice in defense. I've got an extra point of mind from some other mystical thing I found, which helped me get out of spells when spells were cast on me. It was... And it's just me. Like, the rest of us have spent money and bought stuff and have decent equipment and various different things, and we're all fairly beefy.
Mm-hmm.
We got through about half the dungeon, and the good thing about Heroquest is it's the same board. It's just where the doors are changes from quest to quest, and where you start changes, and it's really cool how they've done this.
Real sense of deja vu, though. Working through the dungeon.
Yes.
He's glitching the Matrix material.
Yeah, but so we're all fairly beefy, and we found this guy, and I started attacking him, and he cast a spell on me, which meant that he took control of me until I was able to get out of it. So I started attacking the party for 1 round, and then I successfully rolled what I needed to and broke that spell. And then he cast fear on me, which meant that I would only be rolling 1 dice in attack. And that lasted a bit longer than I had hoped it would. but I still managed to hit him for 1 point of damage during that time. Yep, just poking him. He was rolling 6 dice in defense. My 1 dice went through his 6 dice of defense at one point. Anyway, I broke that. Eventually, he feared me again. But by this stage, we had him he'd run away, and we trapped him in this room. And we had killed off all the lackeys that he had near him, and we were just encircling him. And then one of us, pretty sure, it must have been Alice, came up with the idea, why don't you just give me the sword? I'm like, well, I could do that. I could pass it to you. You can hit him. You're not feared. And then we got it to a point where literally we were 1 round away from having this sort of conga line circle running around him with passing the sword from person to person.
Oh, there is such an action movie medley. Yeah, it's a montage scene right here where it's just like hit, throw, catch, yay.
Yeah, very much. But by the time we did that, we had killed him and won the game. So it was... it was great fun, absolutely fun. And I think with that sort of a game too, I think with Heroquest in general, like it should be built to the characters. It should be one guy taking control of the bad guys and sort of acting as a DM in a role-playing game.
I was about to say, it's kind of D&D light, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. So I think it's not necessarily a bad thing that we were beefed up. There wasn't an awful lot of challenge with that last mission, and probably should have been.
Mm-hmm.
But
you build up to it, right?
Yeah,
expect
exactly. I'm hoping with the expansions that they're not designed to take the characters on from this series onto the next slide. I'm kind of hoping that we can start new characters.
Yeah.
Start from scratch, see how we go, and one of us sort of take over as the game master type role, so that the guy that has been playing, Mike, can actually have a go at playing a character rather than just controlling all the bad guys, which can't seem to do anything to beefed up heroes. He killed quite a few of us early on in the campaign. I think the dwarf died once or twice, and then the wizard seemed to die like every second night that we did it.
I mean, yeah,
which seems fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so next session, whenever that is, probably in the next fortnight, will be hopefully brand new characters and brand new set of quests. But yeah, it's Heroquest. It's fun. That's been my board games.
There is so much going on right now.
I know. And like I said at the start of the episode, there's so many more that we've got to play.
Many. And that's not talking about just the stuff that we keep going, we should play that again.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's more of that as well.
Mordheim. Got to get some Mordheim in. There's got to be some Crisis Protocol at some point.
Absolutely. I'm getting a little bit hungry.
Yeah, all those... was it Adepticon, the previews?
Yes. And then, as I said, there was the Ballarat tournament on last week or this weekend, yesterday. And I'm in a number of different chats that had people going to that. So I was seeing some sort of updates and a lot of people painting stuff the night before and all that kind of stuff. So it was just like, oh, I remember this game. This game was good. I liked this game.
It was, needs to happen. Things like Necromunda. We haven't played Necromunda
Still
yet.
Hasn't happened. I may have a way to make that happen.
Ooh, exciting. Let's talk after.
Done.
All right. Let's go into, I've got a couple more things I want to talk about, but let's go into
the state of world politics. No.
Oh, God, no. Been watching a lot of documentaries recently.
Stop watching documentaries. The truth hurts.
Finished a 5-part one on the Afghan war and 9/11 and all that sort of thing today.
No.
Anyway, let's get into something you can talk about. We've got one day left in the current season of Marvel Snap.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know that.
How have you been traveling with that?
I have had fun this season. And look, I do not play this well by any stretch of the imagination, but this season I've managed to pick up a few cards that I had played against me a lot over the last couple of seasons, and I finally nabbed them, and I'm like, revenge decks. That's all I'm building, mainly involving Wong.
Wong is fantastic.
So I find, and I only recently got Wong like in the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, right, well, now he goes into everything. How many things? I literally bought a deck just called Wongers. And I just built that, and it's just everything that has fun reveal effects. Wong and Mystique. Yeah.
Oh, the current featured location too is the one that reveals twice.
So it's got camouflages. Yeah, so you do that, and you get Wong and Mystique, and then you just play Gambit and giggle. And it's so much fun. Or Luke Cage and Hazmat, and just watch everybody's things decrease by 1 billion. So I've been doing a lot of that kind of fun. So no, I'm probably kicking around at sort of the 55-ish.
That's not too shabby. Not too shabby. I got up to like 1 or 2 games away from level 70.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
And then just had the worst run in the world.
It's happened so quickly. You climb. Yeah. It's such this gradual kind of, I'm making progress. I'm doing, and then it's like you just play. It's just, and I swear it seems to be the time of day. There are certain times. I haven't actually worked out which times, but it's just like if I'm at this time, it's just I get slammed, and then I just stop playing, and I come back later that night. I'm like, oh, this is a lot easier. Who was I kidding?
I think I got to like level 67, then I dropped down as level 60, and then I got to 69, and I'm back at 66.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not going to get to 70 before, 1 o'clock tomorrow. No. I've been facing a lot of bloody Shuri decks, I must say. And it's just getting frustrating.
Yeah.
Shuri, Red Skull, Taskmaster is just the state of play. And I've only managed to do it once, but when I managed to get priority and Shang-Chi, Red Skull, and then Taskmaster comes out and he's got nothing to copy, so he's a zero power.
I've also a little bit enjoyed. I have a deck that's just there to fuck with people. So it's just anti-tech to everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Camotage comes out and I bust out this deck and you just play Cosmo.
On Camotage.
You wait for Wong to come out and then you play Cosmo. And then you giggle.
It's usually like it could be Mystique played after that as well.
That's it. And then so it's that kind of fun. Or you see something come out with like a Patriot and then you just Enchantress straight after. Or you wait for round 6. And they're loaded. They have everything infinitely higher than you because they've done a Patriot and Mystique and Blue Marvel. Mm-hmm. And then you just put down your Enchantress round 6 and giggle. Yeah. Like it's not a nice way to play, but it's funny.
I had the best one the other day because I think he was playing like turn 3, I think it was. He played Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, right, one of these decks.
Mm-hmm.
So turn 4, he played, what's her name? The chick that is 10 power but reduces everybody by 1.
Yeah, Typhoid Mary.
Yeah, Typhoid Mary. So he played Typhoid Mary. I had played Rogue. He retreated. But what I've been playing recently is a whole heap of cards that I'd never thought I would play too much. So I've got this deck with like Mariah Hill and Agent Coulson, but also Rockslide, Mystique, Darkhawk. Okay, so it's like a cross Darkhawk Devil Dinosaur deck.
Yep.
And so I can quite often have Devil Dinosaur, Darkhawk, and Mystique out at once. And it won me a shitload of games all in a row and then lost a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I will say I'm still having the most success with just my Lock Thor combo. So Thor, Lockjaw, and then you need Thor and Lady Thor.
Yep.
and then it's just get
and
the
Lockjaw.
cheap and Lockjaw, and then it's a combination of the cheapest and most expensive cards that you own.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just you smush them all in a deck, and it just works.
Do you know what I've seen? I really want to try it out. I think it won't actually work too often. But it's basically, what is it? It's Forge, then Wong, then Shuri, and then turn 6, Odin, and then a 0 cost somewhere else.
And just buff the shit out.
That 0 cost, like, it becomes like best case scenario, like a Kamaj or something, is like 100 power thing somewhere else. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, I've seen
that's
that play.
Amazing.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I got screwed the other night by an Arnim Zola Venom combo on. Is it which Sinister? Is it Sinister Island where it fills it?
Yep.
Yeah. So it filled it with Venoms.
Venom
8 Venom.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
And Venom had already done some eating. So Venom then did a bunch of eating and ate Venom a lot, and then dropped Zola on that, which copied Venom, which ate then it fast forwarded because it did that for about an hour.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I've got 2 like 150 power Venoms.
that one where it feels Bar Sinister, I think it is.
Yeah.
But, turn 2 there, Carnage. So you've got a 4-point Carnage, right?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't go up each time. He's only eating one person. Then turn 4, you do Nova and Venom. And so it'll fill the rest of it with Nova. And then Venom will come, eat everybody there, and then fill the rest with Venom. And then he'll keep doubling his power. Yeah. And then, Zola or bloody Null.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so much fun coming up with some of these decks. I'm currently playing as well a deck which is based. It's got a couple of options, but the ideal is like if you can get it off, like if you can play Wong on turn 3 with like Psylocke or something, or Zabu. So Zabu turn 2, Wong's turn 3, Shuri turn 4. Nimrod turn 5. So Nimrod's like 20 power. And then you play Destroyer on the Wong area. And Destroyer kicks in twice. And then you've got Nimrods for days. But that deck's also got Black Panther and Zola. So you can always there's some awesome stuff there. I'm having so much fun with that.
Yeah, but I'm also doing, and this very much speaks the way that I play war games as well. That some people can do exactly that. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm going to put this card and this card and this card together, and they're going to do this, and all of a sudden that's fucking amazing." And I'm a very slow burn with these things. Whereas I put together an idea and I put in a card and I take out a card and I fuck around for a bit. But it's like I have a couple of decks now that I have played that much that they're the ones that I know in every instance kind of what to do and what to play, and they're the ones where I know what's left in the deck when I'm halfway through and I'm like, all right, I'm going to play this, and then I know I've got this coming and there's this much of a chance that it's going to come out next turn. So there's literally 2 halves to that. I feel like there's real funny coming up with a new stupid ass idea for a deck, and I love that. And then there's my safety is I go back to the ones that I've played 8 billion times, and I can play, and it's really like it's comfort food.
Yes, I played one of those today. It was like just an old discard deck that I'd made up years ago, months ago, and what did I play? Like turn 2 was like. Morbius, right? And then turn 3, the third location was Kamatal. And so I played Lady Sif, which got rid of Apocalypse twice. And then I played Swordmaster and Blade which got rid of Apocalypse another 3 times.
Yeah.
And then I played Hellcow, which, like, by the end of it, I was sitting, my hand had like 5 Swarm Lords, or whatever his name is.
Swarm. Yeah, Swarm. Yeah.
Swarm, yeah. 5 of him and a 32 power Apocalypse.
I played one of those today against me. And I didn't see it coming at the time. But I knew they were going to power up Apocalypse. I'm like, great, but that's just one.
Yep.
And they had Morbius on another one, but they dropped MODOK on Camotage.
Yep.
And they had Swarm in hand. And they just swarm into swarm into swarm into swarm into swarm, and Morbius just ticked up. Like it was just spinning.
Yeah. So many good things. So much fun. Marvel Snap, it's on phones and BlueStacks if you want to play on PC or whatever, but play it on your phone. It's a nice free game. You can spend money and get extra stuff for it, but you don't need to.
I literally haven't spent a cent, and it's keeping me amused.
I buy the season passes every season because that gives us a new character. It's going to be Hit Monkey next season. Hit Monkey. Yeah. As in tomorrow at 1 o'clock, it's going to be Hit Monkey.
I'm going to be very angry. There are going to be people with Hit Monkeys. No, I'm not one of those people.
Anyway, last game we want to talk about. Blood Bowl 3. We've threatened this.
There has been so much like pent up longing for this game. Like, this is like a long distance relationship that is finally coming to meet home to Rio for the first time in. It's like they moved to South Africa for 12 months and they're coming home now, and you're like, right, I have 12 months of pent up frustration that I am going to unleash.
So, has it been like a tidal wave, or has it been like erectile dysfunction?
I didn't delete it.
That's something, I suppose. There's been an amazing amount of hate at this game. And look, I get it. The game is nowhere near finished. In fact, they're considering this almost the beta, even though they've done a couple of betas already.
It feels like it, right? And I think the thing that tapers my rage on this whole thing is the fact that there are a lot of people a lot more angry than I am. And I feel like sometimes when you see that, you know, it's almost like the mirror gets held up and you're like, oh, that's not really attractive or necessary. Maybe I'll just calm my tits a little.
See, I see Blood Bowl 3 as there's a lot of places it can go, and all of those are good because what it is now is not great. But it will get there. It will get there. It will eventually be like it's the same company. It can't help it. It will eventually be at a Blood Bowl 2 quality, but it's not yet, which is really weird for, you know, the next in the sequence.
And yeah, for how long it's been in development, for how long it's been in beta, for how long, like, I get it, but also I don't. Get your shit together. Like, and it's things like, if you had a really, really polished game with stuff missing, teams missing, you know, extra
Passing
funky
stats.
Rules going.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, maybe don't miss the passing stat. That's a core rule. But if you had the different pitch rules missing, if you had the different, like all of the customizable coaches and other shit you could do for teams missing, I wouldn't care. If the base game was really, really sort of slick and playable. And I think that's my frustration, is that there's this really kind of jack of all trades approach to, like, they've put in more customization than you had, arguably. They've put in more, shit you can buy. They've put in more pitch rules and funky shit. They've put in, more stuff, but that seems to have cost them just quality gameplay.
It's very strange because, where I thought you were going with that is like Blood Bowl 2. You've got this game and you need to update it to the new rules and add in the new teams, and you make the changes to some of the skills that have changed, for example. But you have that.
Yeah, and I think there was a point that they made around the whole engine it was built on needed. So it was basically a build from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like we could just take an update, which I get. There was too much to change and it wasn't going to cope. So yes, you're building it from scratch, but you're building it from scratch with this archive of knowledge and experience and stuff. But no, fundamentally, my issue with it is I would be happy. Like, I don't care about a lot of stuff in the game, but I want the game to be playable. And it is things like, and I'm playing it on console. I have got Blood Bowl 2 on both Xbox and PC just because that's the kind of sadist I am. But fundamentally, by choice, I will play it on the Xbox, just preferred. PC's up for gaming. The controls are just, I get the changes that they've made. I'm okay with the changes they've made, but there is stuff in the interface that is just not intuitive. The fact that when there is only one square to push someone to, the highlighted square doesn't automatically move to that square irritates the piss out of me. Like, why?
I think the thing that gets me is like that dice animation, right? First of all, the dice animation is quite often you've got the result played out on the screen before the dice are even pictured, right? Yep. But just little things like, you fail a reroll with loner or, any of those sort of skills, which means that you don't get to reroll what you're trying to reroll.
But right? It rerolls the dice and then gives you the same result.
It gives you the same result, but it gives you that animation that makes it sort of implies that it's worked and you've just gotten the same result.
I thought for a while that they hadn't put loner into the game, but then I've realized, or you've said, or someone's come up that I'm just like, oh no, it's happening. It's just rerolling the same result. Thing. And that's the loner effect. I'm like, well, that's fucking silly. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there that isn't. But even just, navigating to see who's got what skills is harder than it was. What the weather effect is harder.
Yeah, I still don't know how to check skills on a character. Apart from memorizing every single icon.
Which is my preferred go-to, yeah.
Look, there are things that are coming and there are things that they've done which I don't like. Things like, I believe that, like, if you want any of your characters to look different, you need to buy customized things.
Yeah.
Like custom arms, custom shoulder pads, custom bodies, all that sort of stuff. But you spend the in-game currency to buy that and you get one of them.
They updated that.
Did they?
Yeah.
What did they update it to?
I think you actually get you actually get it for the team now.
Okay, thank God for that, because I'd looked into it, and apparently, if your one character with that died, you would get it back to use it on another character. Yeah. But that was in question for a while.
No, I'm pretty because that was rage about that when it realized that to change a shoulder pad, which is 50 cents or whatever, it doesn't matter, but you had to then buy it for every single player in the team if you wanted them to match. Stop it! I've bought the item. Yeah, no. So they did change that. And that was one of the patch updates.
Okay.
So, look, the good news here is they're clearly listening to the excessive amounts of community feedback.
Have you seen some of their posts, though? Like, did you see the sevens one where somebody asked if they were putting in rules for sevens?
Oh, yeah, whoever they've got in that. So, when I say they're obviously listening, I'm watching the result of what they're putting in. But whoever they have managing their social media account should be fired and never work in social media again.
Correct.
But it is unacceptable at best.
Yeah, for those that didn't see it, the response was sevens was never part of our plan. If you wanted sevens, suck it up and go get a refund. Basically,
that was
literally words to that effect.
That's not far off of verbatim. It was ridiculous.
Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I mean, sevens. I would love sevens to be in Blood Bowl 3.
That'd be the best.
I'm not gonna, stop playing it because it's not. But to actually respond to somebody who has bought your game and said go back and get a refund.
Yeah,
that is
when all I've said
cool.
is, "Are you going to do this?"
Yeah.
Yes, no. It's a yes, no question. You can say no. That's a legitimate. That is a 50% of the answer you can give. Cheers. Yeah. Thanks for the suggestion. We haven't got the space. We've got a lot of other shit to fix first.
Yeah.
Have you seen the game right now? Like it. So
and look, they are declaring it as almost like a beta because according to their timeline, the real game starts in May when season 1 comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, new tables and rankings and new teams. So the way they're doing the season is, I think it goes for 3 months. You can buy the season kind of like a season pass. You will get the brand new team that comes with that season pass, or you can not buy it and just play through. And if you clock in enough games, you'll get that team for
it's
nothing.
An unlockable thing, right? Yeah. You've just got to meet the criteria, whatever the criteria will be, and it's going to be hard enough that you're just going to pay the $14, whatever the shit it is. Yeah.
That starts in May, which is 3 months away from when they technically released it. And what they have said is that everyone that's got it, to make up for the shit that's been going on, everyone's going to get that season pass.
But also, that's a little bit of the first one's free.
Yeah,
like there's a little bit of that in there. Let's not pretend it's all high and mighty and things. I'm so torn, right? In that I'm still annoyed that the clock doesn't stop when an animation is happening. Mm-hmm. So I'm on I'm still using the competitive timer. So it's whatever, 2-minute turns with a 7-minute overflow, whatever it is. Yep. It goes quick. It goes doubly quick when the fucking controller response is nightmare. It goes triply quick when they force animations on stuff and dice rolls and things and don't stop the clock during that time. Mm-hmm. And then they put the cursor in stupid spots like the other end of anyway. But I'm still playing it.
I know, right?
I'm still here. I'm still racking up XP. I'm still working through after the campaign and there's some multiplayer, and all of these things.
I haven't played multiplayer yet, but I've worked my way through all of the campaign levels and played that first match against Skaven I don't know, maybe a dozen times.
Yeah.
I've won a game with every single team that's in it currently, apart from Nobility. Nearly said Bretonian then.
Same. Yeah. Whereas I've gone the opposite approach. I've made a team for basically but I am my Renegades team I'm working through that whole campaign with. They are very nice right now. It's a very good team.
Should we talk about the star player points? What the fuck happened there?
I don't know, but all right. So for anyone playing at home, it's it has the normal star player point progression, right? You do things, you get star player points, and then you can eventually use those to buy skills. That's
straight out of 11s.
Exactly how it normally works. And then, so I'd finished a match with the Renegades, and I went in because I thought once somebody had done something, so let's go check the team and see if anyone's due for a level up. And every single player was due for not just one level up, but they had automatically been assigned an additional 36 star player points to every single player. And I'm like, clearly there's a glitch in the matrix, but I'm absolutely taking advantage of this. And I reassigned, 36 player points for every single player, and they all got lots of stuff, and everyone was very happy. And I didn't think any more of it. And then I was chatting to you, and he's like, did this happen to you? And I'm like, oh, wait, that's happened to every team I've built? Because I didn't check the others. And my excited little ass went home that night, and I spent a lot of time assigning skills to the point where I literally got bored. And I'm just like, you know what? Everyone in this team is getting a stat increase. Let's just do that and see where we end up.
It was strange. Like I loaded it up and I'm like, why is there 36 across the board here? That just seems weird. I'm like, so I started spending them. I'm like, it's working. I'm getting the skills. And I mean, people have even bitched about that because those teams now, if they were in a league or were being used multiplayer and had some sort of ranking, that ranking's gone and those teams can no longer be used, or they just got deleted outright.
Yeah.
So there's anger there, but for people like you and me that haven't played multiplayer, I had made up a team for all 12 teams. So I've got 12 teams with 36 star player points apiece. The only one I haven't upgraded is the nobility, and I did notice that was it. You know, it cut off there. I've made new teams since. They don't have that extra 36.
I did try that too.
Yeah. Well, I mainly wanted it because I don't want to be playing, 36 star player points on everybody against multiplayer against you, for example. I'd rather start from scratch.
Absolutely.
But also, I had a game, my last game, where I'm playing Renegades, and the Rat Ogre decided that he was going to fail his animal savagery roll, and then he was going to fail his pro roll on the animal savagery. And so he was going to hit the lineman, and then he was going to proceed to kill the lineman that was standing next to him, the 36-star player, with block and tackle and like mighty blow or something. And so I went, okay, well, I've got an apothecary. So in typical Blood Bowl form, you can either have this guy dead or you can have this guy dead. Which one would you like? Well, fuck it, I guess he's dead. So I picked up a thrower to replace him, and he's got 0 star player points, and he's looking very much like a rookie on that team.
It does feel like you've just, pushed the work experience kid into the...
It does. Well, this guy's died, so you go on, get in there. But I'm just here to deliver the oranges.
Water boy on you go, son.
Yep.
Yeah, it's glorious. So, I mean, fundamentally, it is more playable than it was on release. I got it on release. Likewise. I was very, very angry on release. They've done enough that it is now playable. It's not good, but it's playable. I've still had issues where I got angry with it trying to find an opponent for a multiplayer game. So I was doing that thing. So I just abandoned ship there, went back and played another just campaign game against the AI, and then it proceeded to try and load both games at once. That was a fun little glitch in the Matrix. And then it flicked between the multiplayer game with another person and the AI game, and it just bounced between them. And it was the weirdest thing in the world, and I just turned it off at that point in time, walked away.
Take the loss in each one.
Yeah, worth it.
We've got a...
Oh, no, we don't take the loss. We just power off at the power.
Yes, which is... Yeah, I mean, at least in your multiplayer game, that's going to...
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Nah. We do need to get a multiplayer game in, though.
We should do that.
We should do that soon. Look, it's got potential to be everything it should be, which is the second Blood Bowl 2. But it's definitely not there at the moment.
No. And I think the hard bit is coming from Blood Bowl 2 that was as refined as it was by the end. It's just, it feels like like too far a step backwards. And
it shouldn't be a step backwards. It should be a step sideways and then moving up.
Yeah.
But even things like what was the skill that was Juggernaut? I didn't test this out myself, but I saw a lot of posts about Juggernaut and how Juggernaut did not work and just was not a thing. And yet Juggernaut is a very standard skill and one that was in Blood Bowl 2.
Yeah. And it hasn't changed.
No.
Like it's not
Pile Driver or anything.
It's not even a funky one, yeah.
No. Oh, well. Look, if you've got it, we do have an Xbox League set up. I believe there's also a PC League.
There's a PC League as well that I'm not in because I haven't bought it on 2 platforms because I'm not that masochistic.
Mm-hmm. Details for that are in our Discord for both of those. But were you saying you will?
Probably at some stage when they make it good, right? And then I'm gonna want to play against some of the other guys in the Discord, and they're like, "Well, I only have it on PC, and I only have it on Xbox." And unless they actually do cross-platform, which they said they would, but
let's get Juggernaut fixed first.
Yeah, I feel like they've got a backlog. If that's not coming soon and the game's playable, there's every chance if Steam has a sale.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, because it'll be in the NQR bin, so.
Yeah, with the odd bunch from Woolies and the chocolates that aren't quite right.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Anyway, I think that's about it from us.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games. There's a few things on. Shall we talk about those?
There are so many things on, and not even so many, but so many important things.
Yes. So Throw the Dice still got their painting thing on until the 1st of May. So there's a full month left in that.
Still in a box.
Mine's out of the box.
He's racing me. Oh, no, I was going to race. So, and the fun bit is, so Throw the Dice thing, moral of the story is random number generator. There's a whole lot of Reaper Bones models. You enter, you roll the dice, you buy the model that it gets allocated to. So it's a random model, and you paint that. That's the whole deal, right? There's a real mix of models,
yes,
including things like a bookcase and a few things. There's some really nice ones. I'm actually pretty happy with what I've got. I've got pretty solid idea. I think it's going to work good. But there's some stuff in there that I think it'd be ridiculous. And there's also no limit to how many times you can enter.
You're going to enter more than once.
I'm thinking very seriously about trying to race someone to the bookcase. I had the conversation with Jared, who was very excited about the bookcase as well. I'm like, wow, you've got to paint something before you come in and go again. I'll race you to the book. That's not a rule of the competition, but I feel like you could just buy a lot of stuff. It should be.
I need a second model for the idea that I've got in mind. Maybe
I'm sure you could throw them on one base and call it an entry and move on with your life.
Yeah, because I'm going to get that second model. There's one at work that I was looking at, which would do quite nicely. But maybe I should just buy a second one from Rich. Support your local gaming shop, guys. Especially some of them are doing it tough at the moment, so jump on this. Bit of fun. Let's all throw some.
And I spent $8.
Yeah, I spent $7. It's not much. Not much. Anyway, that's on. We also have our Masters giveaway, so that is on Facebook. Like and tag someone in that. We have. I had it open not long before. We've got about 30 odd people in that at the moment. So
nice.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting it.
Somebody is getting it. And then after playing it last night with you, I would be jealous of them if I didn't have it already. Yeah.
But I do. So,
So we are promoting something that we had a lot of fun with last night. So that's always good. It's good that we enjoy it.
Also, Masters of the Universe is a pretty reasonable game, it turns out.
Yeah. Yes.
Speaking of other things we may have had fun with last night.
I see where you're going.
Yeah. See what I've done there.
It is technically 11:30 at night.
I mean, is it? No. I feel like that's the opposite of true.
Well, if daylight savings hadn't hit.
But did daylight savings hit or go away?
Yeah, whatever it is. Whichever way you want to say it. It was great. I actually stayed in bed till like the equivalent of 12:30 this afternoon.
Oh,
I know. I have not done that in a long time. One of my kids was away. The other one was having a girls' night with the wife, so they were in the same bed together, and they just kept watching the same movie they started last night. And I'm like, I've got no noise, no one running around, no one carrying on.
No responsibility, not a care in the world. Look at that.
Great. It was great. Anyway, that's on. Go to our Facebook page, see some details about that.
I think my unicorn has a penis. I'm just saying. Anyway.
Is that the title of the episode? Anyway, last but definitely not least. Sorry, Jace is gone. Thoughtless Bowl 4.
Holy shit, I'm back.
We chucked up the players pack tonight, actually, just before we started recording. So that is all systems ahead.
Yes, forward.
All systems forward. It is on. It is on like Donkey Kong. It is the 17th of June, Sevens tournament. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome.
It's about all you need to know, right? It's 17th
of June.
Pack,
the players pack looks incredible, mate. You've done a good job.
We had fun.
So you should come along just to see the players pack, which is on the event on Facebook.
Downloadable now. So you don't actually need to physically show up for that. But,
But after you see the players book, how are you going to help buying a ticket and coming along?
Sure. Let's go with
Sure. Yeah, let's do that. Anyway.
I wonder if I can win this one.
Maybe I'll be Gumby.
I reckon we could both play.
It's potential.
I'll race you.
That's my potential. Anyway, I think that's it for one night. We're going about an hour and a half. That's a fairly epic one, especially if it's just me talking for most of it. So by that means we've got no one listening now anyway, because they're all sick of my voice. If you haven't already, give us a follow. Facebook, Spotify, Podbean, Twitch. I am planning on jumping on Twitch in the next couple of days as well, doing the, what are we now, April? The March Patreon giveaway, and then just jumping on doing some hobby. I've got a whole heap of things I want to undercoat tomorrow in preparation for that. OnlyFans, God, they're giving me grief. It's become a real chore trying to get that working.
That's just,
and it's just for a joke. Like, I've got an idea. So I say that it may turn out to be less of a joke than I intended, but yeah.
I mean, if it brings in the cash,
it's not going to bring in the cash. That's not the point.
It might.
You can make.
I'm not going to kink shame.
No, you can make OnlyFans free membership.
Yeah, no, but that's just for teaser content.
Is it? I don't know. I really have not looked into it very.
I mean, it's not. You can just make it free, but you've got to subscribe. But it makes it free. But I feel
anyway. I got one more idea about how I can possibly make OnlyFans work, and we'll give that a go in the next couple of days. See what happens. But yeah. So thank you again very much to our Patreons who somehow feel obligated to throw us money to
really hope it's not obligated. I'd feel bad if it was obligated.
Well, they sign up for it and they keep going.
I mean, it is literally a contract that you sign. I mean, it's one of the you can cancel at any time.
You can cancel at any time.
There is an obligation to abide by the rules and regulations that's set out in the contract, but you can cancel it. So don't be obligated to become one. Just fulfill the contractual obligations that you sign once you do. If you do. Until you decide not to.
Sure. Thank you anyway. I'm just going to ignore all of that. And thank you to our Patreons for helping us out, giving us a bit of cash to throw towards these competitions. And it's allowed us to be able to give away things like the Masters game, which is a hefty game. So thank you. We have a brand new sponsor just in the last couple of days. Sponsors what I've gotten written down. Patreon. Brand new Patreon.
Since when do we get sponsors?
I don't know. What do you want to call them? Fuck off. It's 11:30. So thank you, Marcus, for jumping on board and helping us out, mate. Much appreciated. There you go.
Yeah,
you win a tournament, and become a Patreon. Like,
that's it.
Just a grade A human being right there.
Do we count tournament winners as grade A human beings? Is that?
Well, he came to the tournament.
I mean, yes, attendance.
Okay, cool. Speaking of human beings of some degree description, thank you as always to our Thoughtless patrons, Alice, Clinton, Kingsley. You guys are awesome.
And also human beings, according to our...
human beings. You are not AI chats.
Oh, shit, what if they are?
We have met them all. They're all in our league.
I mean, do we know that they are the same people that are the Patreons?
No, that's very true. We don't. We welcome our new robot overlords.
Again, they paying the bills. I'm good.
Yeah. Not paying the Patreon giveaway bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you to all you robots for listening. Laters.
My God, we're being listened to by AI. All right, catch ya.
Thoughtless, casual.